Hello, kids. Good morning. It's me again. As you can see, I'm not back from my trip yet. So here is another video of the next lesson. Okay. I hope you have been learning things. I hope the videos have been clear enough so far. And I hope your teacher has been helping you to answer any questions that you may have. Okay. Today, we're going to start a new lesson. So you know the drill. Get your notebooks ready, get your pens and pencils ready, and start writing down the title. Today, the title we have is 3.6 Sexual Maturation. Okay, sexual maturation. So if you want to pause the video just to make sure that everyone is ready, and we will start right away. Now, I have a very important question for you all, a very important question that I want you to answer, and I don't want you to get shocked or anything, okay? Real quick. Am I ready to have sex? Now, this is the question. Am I ready to have sex? Okay, I want you to take a moment right now, and I'm going to ask your teacher to help me out. I want you to raise your hands, okay? I want you to raise your hands if you think or believe that you are ready to have sex. Raise your hand if you think you're ready, okay? Teacher, if you can just count how many of them are ready, okay? None? Okay, maybe one or two, I don't know. I cannot see you, right? So I'm not expecting a lot of you to raise your hand, but what if I told you that some of you might be ready for sex? It sounds shocking, right? I know, but don't get me wrong. I am not saying or encouraging you to have sexual activities yet, okay? But what I mean is that biologically speaking, let me move this a little bit. Oops, technical difficulties. There it is, okay? Am I ready to have sex? Biologically speaking, a great number of teenagers are ready for sexual activities, or they're ready for reproduction. And why am I saying this? For a very simple reason. I'm gonna highlight this. Great number of teenagers are ready for reproduction because your sexual organs have reached a certain point of maturation, okay? Through this moment of your life, through puberty, through these following years, your body is going to be going through some changes, some transformations. And one of those changes is the maturation of your sexual organs. Okay. And that is why we can say that some of the teenagers here in this classroom may be ready for reproduction. However, that's biologically speaking. Psychologically speaking, you're not ready for it. Okay, you are not ready for reproducing. You're not ready to make a family or have babies. Why? Because you're still like you still need to develop certain abilities or certain skills. Okay, we can think about critical thinking, or we can mention critical thinking that will help you make the best decisions for your life. And one of those best decisions for your life right now is to not engage in sexual activities. Okay, and usually when we talk about this, there is a very specific question that a lot of students ask me. Every single year I have the same question. And that question is, teacher, when will I be ready to have sex? Okay, this is the question. When will I be ready to have sex? Just give me a second, because I think yes, I'm on the way. There it is. When will I be ready to have sex? That's a very good question that you may be asking me. And I want you to take a moment right now. If you want to pause the video 2 minutes or so, I want you to discuss, when will you be ready to have sex? What would your answers be? Okay, so pause the video, take a couple of minutes, discuss with each other, when will the best moment to have sex in your life would be. Okay, I'm going to wait here, and I'm assuming you're done with it. Okay, now, to be honest with you, you may have different answers. Some of you might be saying some different ages. Some of you might be saying like 23 years old. Some of you might be saying 18 years old. Some of you might be saying when you finish college or something like that. And the truth is that there is no actual age for you to be ready. And put it here so you can see it. Perfect. So there's no actual age for you to be ready to have sex. Why? Because it's not a matter of age. It's not like when you become a certain age, everything is perfectly ready for you to reproduce, for you to have a family. Now, the thing here, as we were mentioning, you have to be ready to make that decision. Okay, you have to become capable. Sorry, you have to become capable of making the decision and taking full responsibility of the consequences. When you engage in sexual interactions, there is a chance that you might get yourself into a pregnancy, or you might even get yourself into a sexually transmitted disease. So you have to be very, very aware that those consequences may happen if you engage in sexual activities. So when you're ready to accept those consequences, when you are physically ready, mentally ready, socially ready, economically ready to make those decisions, then you're gonna be ready to have or to engage in sex. Okay. As you can see, it's not a simple decision. It's not something that you just wake up a morning and you're like, oh, I'm 25 years old, I'm ready to have sex. That's not the way it works. Okay, some of you might be ready before others, but that's a different story. Okay, don't get too pressured to engage in sexual activities. As you grow older, you might feel pressure from society. Like the older you get, you will feel more pressure from your friends, especially if they have engaged in sexual activities. So don't worry about it. Okay, don't think a lot of it, and just remember, whenever you're ready to face the consequences, then you will be ready to engage in sexual activities. Okay, if you ask me personally, I believe that the best moment to engage in sexual activities is when you get married. Okay, being honest, like, this is not me being a teacher, this is me being a person talking to you. If you were to ask me, Alfredo Garcia, I would say it is better to wait for you to get married. Okay, but each one of you may have a different opinion. Each one of you may believe in different things, and you will grow and develop into believing things differently as you grow older. So good luck with that. Okay, just be smart about it. Okay. So yes, taking full responsibility of the consequences. Now, why am I asking these questions? Okay, so we mentioned already that some of you, your body at least, might be ready for reproduction. But what does this mean? How can I be so sure? How can teacher Alfredo be so sure that you kids, or some of you kids, are ready for reproduction? Well, there's a very simple answer, and the answer is puberty. Okay, let me just, there it is. The answer here is puberty. The reason why I am so sure that some of you can have babies right now, I mean, not that you should, but your bodies could make babies, is because some of you are going through puberty already. Some of you are still waiting for puberty to begin. Some of you, or most of you, have begun their puberty process. But let's start with the definition. What is puberty exactly? Puberty refers to the physical and psychological changes that teenagers experience during a period of rapid growth and development known as adolescence. So we can summarize this as a physical and psychological changes during adolescence. So that's the period of time you're living right now. Your adolescence is this period of time in which you will be growing very fast. You're going to be developing very rapidly, and there's going to be a lot of changes, especially in your body, but not just physical changes. As you can see, I am mentioning also psychological changes. Why? Because not only your body changes, but your mind grows and develops as well. You will be learning new things. You're going to be engaging with new people. You're going to be like believing new things, actually. So as you grow older, your mind and your body will develop and change. Okay. And to summarize this puberty definition, we can say it's a process of transformation in which you become full adults. Okay. Your body and your mind changes from being a kid into being an adult. That's the process of puberty. When you're a kid, you think certain things, right? Like you might be thinking about video games, and you might be thinking like about cartoons and silly things, and those kind of immature stuff. And as you grow older, you start thinking about more relevant things of your life. Maybe you start thinking about your health. Maybe you start thinking about your future. Maybe you start thinking about college. Maybe you start thinking about boyfriends and girlfriends. So as you grow older, your thoughts are going to be developing as well. So puberty is this process of transformation. You go from a kid into an adult. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if I gave you enough time to copy the previous definitions, but you can pause the video anytime. Right now, I want you to make sure that you have this definition on your notebook. Okay. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to pause the video in case your teacher is not on the desk. 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to continue with the next definition. Okay. If you need time, you can go back and listen to me carefully. If you have any questions, remember, you can pause the video, raise your hand, teacher, I have a question, and your teacher will help you out. Okay. Perfect. So let's continue. Now, when does puberty begin? Like, how could I be so sure that you have begun your puberty? Well, because I'm a teacher. I know everything about this. So when will puberty begin, or how can you know if you have started puberty yet? Some of you might be like, profe, yo no sé cuándo empecé la pubertad. Profe, yo ya soy puberto. So right now I'm going to tell you how to know the difference, like how to identify if you have or not started with puberty. So the first thing is, oh, I forget that I need to put this right here. There you go. So the first thing is, puberty begins between the ages of 8 and 14. That's more or less the age in which puberty will begin. Each one of you might start puberty at a different time of your lives, okay? As you can see, some of you might be starting at the age of 8, which means that you have started that a few years ago, but some of you might wait until you're 14. So there's still a couple more years for you to actually start with puberty. What makes the difference, or what makes it for some people to start before or after? Your body. Each one of us is a different body, a different metabolism, different chemical reactions happening inside of us. So maybe my friends started puberty a long time ago and I'm still waiting to start it. That's not a problem. A couple of years ago, I had a student and she was worried, right? Because her friends, all of her friends had started puberty and she was the only one that had not started it. So she was worried if there was something wrong with her, if she was sick or something. And after the lesson, she understood that there was nothing wrong with her. It's just how your body will work, okay? But if you reach the age of 15 and your puberty hasn't started, maybe you will want to go to a doctor and make sure that everything inside your body is working properly, okay? What makes puberty start? Look, it's the production of sex hormones. Your body at certain point of your life, it could be the age of 8 or the age of 9, 10, 11, 12, your body will start producing sexual hormones, okay? Those sexual hormones will they mark the beginning of puberty, and those hormones will be carrying a series of reactions that will develop your body or transform your body from a child into an adult, okay? Now, where are those hormones produced, okay? Now, we have two types of hormones, or we can mention principal sexual hormones. We will have testosterone, okay? And we will have estrogen. Now, maybe you have heard about this. Some of you, I'm sure you have heard about testosterone. I'm not sure you have heard about estrogen. Usually that's how it works. Like, it's like more common to hear the word testosterone than estrogen. I'm assuming girls have heard the word estrogen. And the reason why is because testosterone and estrogen are going to be like sexual hormones for boys and girls. Testosterone is considered the male hormone, okay? And it is produced in the testes. When we say testes, we're referring to the testicles. We don't usually call them testicles, it's testes in plural, okay? So that's why it's considered the male hormone, because it's produced in the male reproductive organs and it is responsible of the male physical changes of puberty, okay? Estrogen is considered the female hormone and it is produced in the ovaries. So the same thing goes for girls. There is going to be a specific sexual hormone that is produced in the female reproductive organs, okay? So testosterone in the testes, as you can see, testosterone, testes, similar to associate, and estrogen is going to be produced in the ovaries. Testosterone is male, estrogen is female, okay? I'll give you a couple of seconds to finish copying this. If you need to pause it, make sure that you pause it. And let's move on. Now, I mentioned hormones will start being produced. That marks the beginning of puberty. But what will happen when those hormones actually run through your body? Okay, so these hormones are gonna cause the development of secondary sexual characteristics. Okay, secondary sexual characteristics. And for this, I want you to remember a definition that we saw before this lesson. In the previous lesson, we mentioned sex, and we determined or defined it as the physical differences between males and females, right? And the primary sexual characteristic, or the primary difference between males and females, is the reproductive organs or the reproductive system, right? That's the main physical difference between males and females. So during puberty, you will develop secondary sexual characteristics, secondary physical differences, or additional physical difference. Some of them, we mentioned them in the previous class, or well, in the previous lesson, if you remember, we mentioned them out loud. But now we're going to discuss exactly which are the changes that you will be experiencing in the following years. Or maybe some of these changes you are like, you have already experienced them and you're already living through them. Okay. Now, these physical changes can be divided as well into female, male, but there will also be changes that happen to everyone. Okay. So let's start with the female changes. So what will happen to females because of during puberty or because of sexual hormones? So the first thing is wider hips. Okay. Now, for those of you who do not know, these are your hips. Okay. Like Shakira, you know. Okay. Now, sorry, I'm imagining you watching me moving my hips. Anyways, so hips are gonna get wider. That's a change that happens in girls. Okay. Development of their breasts. Their breasts are gonna get larger as well, and the start of menstruation. Girls during their like, well, while they're kids, they won't have any periods, they won't have any menstruation. When puberty begins, their menstrual cycle will start as well. So they will start having menstruation, and it will start happening. At first it might not be so regular, like once in a month kind of thing, but eventually it will get there. We will discuss menstruation. Like, we have a specific lesson just for menstruation later when I come back. Okay, so don't worry, we will explain all of that. Now, male changes. Now, there's like we can say a similar changes that happen between males and females. Okay, females, they had wider hips. Males will get wider shoulders. So our shoulders will get wider. Okay, some of you may have already like experienced that change. Some of you still haven't. Now, growth of genitals, your genital organs, meaning your penis and your testes, will get larger. Okay, they will get bigger. And you will start your ejaculations. For those of you who do not know, ejaculation refers to the release of semen. Okay, so boys will start releasing semen. We will discuss that when we talk about the male reproductive system. And there's also muscular development. Now, boys, this is like an advantage for us. During puberty, your muscles will develop even if you don't exercise. Like, you don't have to hit the gym, you don't have to go and train for several hours a day before puberty. But during the process, your muscles will naturally develop a little bit more. So they will become a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. Obviously, after your puberty, you will have to train them to, if you want them to be bigger or you want to become stronger. Okay. So far, these are the main changes that females and males have. Now, you may be thinking of some other changes, okay, like, hey, teacher, what about this? What about that? And some of them we will discuss when I come back, or you can ask your teacher right now. And some of those changes are experienced by both males and females, which I have right here. Both males and females will grow taller, okay? Some of you will grow taller. Some of you will not grow that much. If you can take my example, I'm not someone that grew a lot, but I had a friend that during puberty, he grew from being 160 to being 180 something. So good luck. There's still hope if you want to grow taller. Appearance of hair in genital area, face, and armpits. There's going to be hair growing in different parts of your body that you were not expecting for there to be hair. Okay, so most of the common areas is facial hair. As you can see, I have grown a beard. Okay, girls, you also grow facial hair. It's not going to be as thick and as abundant as male hair, facial hair, but you also grow facial hair, usually in the mustache area and a little bit here on the chin. Okay, you grow hair on your legs. I'm not gonna show you my hair on the legs, but you grow hair on the legs, both boys and girls. You grow hair on your armpits as well, and you grow hair in the genital area. Okay, so both boys and girls will grow hair in those areas. Voice changes. Now, usually voice changes is considered a male change because it's something easier to detect. It is something like a little bit more extreme, but both boys and girls experience voice changes. And the reason why is because our larynx, that one that is responsible for our voice, like the one that has the vocal cords, that one grows as well when we become bigger, when we become taller. And as it grows, it stretches the vocal cords and it makes our voice sound different. So there will be voice changes for both males and females, but I don't think girls will be getting deeper voices. Okay, I mean a little bit, but not that much. So as a kid, you may be talking like this, you know, like, hey teacher, I'm a kid. And when you grow older, you go like, hey teacher, what's up? So deeper voices, like boys will have deeper voices. You know what I mean? Now, acne. I think everyone knows acne. Okay, acne as in pimples, as in granitos and espinillas and all of those things in your face. Both males and females will develop acne. Some of us are gonna be very lucky. I consider myself to be lucky because when I was your age, I didn't develop like a serious situation of acne. Like I would have like very small pimples and they will happen like very rarely. Like I wouldn't have them so often. But there are other kids that have a serious situation of acne, like their pimples are going to be every single day, or they will be having a lot of pimples on their face. And you may have heard that is related to how much you wash your face. Like if you wash your face more frequently, you will have less of them. And it is true. Okay, you can prevent acne by keeping your face clean, not touching your face all the time, especially if your hands are dirty. But it is also a metabolic thing, like a genetic thing. When we hit puberty, there will be some signals into your sweat glands that will be producing more fat. You see, like they will be producing oils or fats, okay? But va a haber más grasa en los poros. So they will get like enclosed and trapped, and that's what creates pimples, granos y espinillas. So washing your face helps, but it's also something that might happen or might not happen as bad. If you have or you get a severe situation of acne, you can go to a doctor, dermatologist, okay, and they can give you some treatments to keep it like under control, or to make sure that you don't get like any big injuries or whatever. Okay. The last change that I have here, body odor. Okay. Basically, as you grow older, as you start puberty and your body starts changing, your sweat glands develop more and they start producing a nasty smell when you sweat. Okay. And even when you're not sweating, because I know a lot of you like, ay, profe, yo no sudo, yo no huelo feo porque yo no sudo. That's not true. Everyone smells, especially if we don't shower. So when you start puberty, you start to shower every single day. It is very common when you're kids that your mom will tell you, like, no te preocupes, mijito, no te bañes, no pasa nada. Okay. Or maybe you will be showering at night, like, ay, yo me baño en la noche para estar, dormir un poquito más y en la mañana no tener frío. That cannot happen anymore. Okay. Once you start puberty, you have to shower every single morning. And you'll be like, ¿por qué, profe? Qué flojera, me da frío. But the thing is, while you're sleeping, your body is transpiring. Okay, your body, your sweat glands are working, and even if you don't sweat and get like become like all sweaty and wet in your cheeks, your body is releasing sweat. Okay, you may not notice it because you're asleep, of course, but your body is sweating. And if you keep that on your skin when you wake up, by the time that you get to school, maybe around 10 a.m., all that sweat that was stuck on your skin will start smelling very, very disgustingly. So make us all a favor, make yourself a favor, and shower every single morning. Okay. Besides body odor, there is another reason why you should shower every morning, and that's because you don't know what would happen during the night. And in the case of girls, you might get your period during the night. So I think it would be a nice idea to shower in the morning to make sure that you're clean and stuff. And for the boys, you might get some ejaculations during the night, okay? And you want to clean that before you come to school. So now you know it. You can shower every day, or you should shower every day in the morning. If you want to shower in the morning and the night, well, good for you, okay? Just make sure that you don't waste that much water. Now, another thing for body odor before, I mean, besides showering and stuff, wearing deodorant also helps, okay? If you buy some deodorant, if you don't have any deodorant yet, I recommend you get one, like whichever brand that you prefer. You gotta be careful though, because some brands will work better than others, and some brands might get like irritation on your skin. It depends on the person. So you can try and find the best, the one that you that works best with you. Okay, so deodorant, showering, cleaning, and all of those things. Okay, and that brings me to one last thing, and that is hygiene. Hygiene is important. For those of you who do not know that word, hygiene is higiene. La higiene es sumamente importante. It's very, very important. What kind of hygiene should you follow or should you practice? As I said, shower every day, brush your teeth, brush your hair, okay? Wash your face, and I'm missing one. Teeth, face, shower, and wear deodorant, okay? Basically, those are the 5 hygiene practices that you should start using or doing once you start puberty. Okay, now this is the end of the puberty lesson. I don't know if this is the first class or the second class or whatever. So just make sure that you have all the notes, and there will be an activity about puberty. So if you still have time for today's class after these notes, make sure that you start working on it and upload it to the calendar. Okay, if there's not enough time, well, don't worry, put your stuff away, and tomorrow you will have the activity for this lesson. That's everything. And I just want to let you know that I'm having a lot of fun in the trip. Okay, I miss you, of course, because it's a different thing, but I'm still having a lot of fun. Okay, see you later. Have an excellent day. Love you all. Bye bye.